Hey guys, day 68. Right now, as I sit here talking to you, I feel like I'm in the residue, in the after burnings or whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, of so much karma just being burned away. That's what I felt like this meditation was like what was happening in this meditation. And I'm going to try to put in my own words the process of how karma is burned away, or you could call it conditioning or old patterns and old stories, how they're burned away while we're meditating. And it's interesting, I can feel the karma that was being burned away kind of up in my energy field right now. So it's fascinating to be shooting a video with that old karma that was really coming up and being burned away, and just kind of feeling it there. And simultaneously allowing what I'm trying to speak about to come through while that's happening. Because sometimes when we go into these meditations for 2 hours every single day, some of them are going to be like you're floating on a cloud and it's blissful and you're just this feather, you're just like this feather and you feel like you don't even have a body, or that your body is something secondary to think about. And it's just really, like I've said before, you're just being held by the Divine Mother, and that can be your meditation for the day, especially as I've gotten into like day 55 and beyond. I can have more of those experiences. But sometimes we go into a meditation with lots of density, lots of just heaviness, lots of just like this, almost just crawling sensation of, ugh, what is this? Like this isn't me. Or, maybe this is me, but this isn't something I don't, that I want to identify with anymore. And that's an initial movement that is pushing a part of you away, right? Because we're like, ugh, I feel bad. But when we go into the silence, when we close our eyes and we sit there and we just let go and we allow, then what happens is, what I feel is we open ourselves to more of what we are, which is love, which is source, which is pure awareness. And as we're sitting there opening ourselves to more of what we are, this part of us, this ickiness, this heaviness, this density that initially, before the meditation, we were kind of wanting to resist and push away, well, this more of what we are comes in, it can hold space for this part of us. It can hold space for the density, the feelings of doubt, the feelings of, I did this wrong, or like, am I worth loving? The source energy we allow in, the love, the pure awareness that we start falling back into, you could also say. It starts holding space for these aspects of ourself that are really sometimes painful to be with. And in this way, this is how this karma, this conditioning, these old beliefs and old stories, they get burned away. And it can literally, it's not like it can, no, it literally feels like burning sometimes, especially if there's a heavier and denser old story or old pain or old trauma that's coming up, or an old wound or an inner child that's really screaming, And during a meditation, it's fascinating how the old karma, the old patterns, will try to pull you into the mind space, into thought, to keep themselves from being burned away by pure awareness, by source. These old patterns these old patterns think they don't want to be seen by source because they know that that's the end of them, that that's their death, that's when they get melted away, burned away. But you have to parent these old patterns in a sense, and you have to show them like, no, this is actually what you want. You want to be integrated. You want to have you want to have love shined on you, source shined on you, so that you can know that you are loved, that you are wholeness. But these patterns, they'll be really sticky, and they'll be clever, and they'll be tricky. And it's like they pull you into the mind space to keep you from opening to all that you are. Because when you open to all that you are, like I was saying, you bring in the space and the love and the awareness to literally melt and burn these patterns away. And then that's how they integrate. But these patterns, it's just in their innocent nature that they just want to hang on for survival. Because here's why it's innocent. These patterns truly feel that they're keeping you safe. Because as a child, maybe they did keep you safe in certain situations. Maybe they kept you alive, right? As an adolescent. And as adults, sometimes we can still hang on to that these patterns are keeping me safe. So it's really a fascinating thing when we're meditating, how much these old patterns pull us into the thinking space. And it's funny, the pattern, whatever the flavor or the texture of the pattern that pulls us into the thinking space, those are the kind of thoughts we're going to have. If it's unworthiness, we're going to have unworthy thoughts. If it's, I fucked up, I shouldn't have done that, it's going to be thoughts of, how can I forgive myself? And what happens is, so we get pulled into the pattern comes up, it's clever, it pulls us into the mind, then we are in a story of unworthiness or whatever it is for you, that we can't forgive ourselves. And then we realize, oh shit, I just got lost to a story. And then what we do is we open, we say that's okay. We don't sit there and dwell on that, we just say, that's okay, and then we open to source, we let go deeper, and we transcend thought again. And the easiest way to transcend thought is to open the crown chakra or to relax your awareness. When a pattern comes up, when karma comes up and we contract on it, a pattern comes up of fear or unworthiness or lack, and then it creates a story, right? And then if we contract on that story, well, now our awareness is contracted, it's closed, it's right here. We're giving interest to it. But if the karma comes up, the fear, the worry, the abandonment, whatever it is, and we just stay relaxed and we stay open, the crown stays open, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, everything, the sacral and the root, if we keep all our energy centers open, wide open, and we keep our awareness very relaxed, then that karma's coming up. And guess what? We're inviting the flood of grace in. We're inviting source in to see it. We're inviting love. We're inviting our expansive, spacious nature to hold space for this karma. And then it's coming up, and here's the movement. It's coming up and it's getting burned away, which is beautiful. But through this burning, it can start saying, ouch, no. And then this is how this old pattern tries to stay alive. It's really clever, and it'll throw up something that it knows is going to grab you. It's just going to grab you, and then you're back into the thought space, right? Now you're not holding space anymore. Now you are the pattern again. And you might sometimes get stuck in this pattern for 15 minutes. Today, I'm 68 days into this, and I got stuck in a story for 15 minutes probably. I don't know how long, but it seemed like a while. And then all of a sudden I was like, shit. I was just my karma for 15 minutes when I had the choice to be everything that I am. And when we make the choice in meditation to be everything that we are, that's when we can really allow those old patterns to fall, those old stories, all that karma to burn away. And here's the beautiful thing. Here's the thing though about meditation. It's so much better for you to sit with your eyes closed for 2 hours and to be in your old story and in your old pattern the whole time and never connect with all that you are. It's better to do that than not meditate at all. And here's why. Because when you're in your old pattern and in your old story with your eyes closed, listening to silence, even if you're spinning out in stories for 2 hours straight, two things. You're learning more about your old karma. You're learning more about your patterns. You're learning more about what still has you, what still is grabbing you, right? And what you're having trouble letting go of. So because you're in the pattern for 2 hours with no distractions, you learn so much more about the pattern. And after a while, you get bored of the pattern. After a while, you will get bored of the story in the mind and you'll be like, okay, that's it. And then you become open to receiving more. You become open to receiving the assistance to let go of this pattern, the assistance from Source, your higher self, from the flood of grace as you open. And the second reason it's still incredibly beneficial to meditate, even if you're stuck in the mind the whole time, is because at least you're sitting there for 2 hours every day or an hour or whatever it is for you in the old pattern, doing nothing at all, rather than in the old pattern, letting it control your outside life and how you speak to people and the actions you're taking. Because here's the deal, if you're stuck in an older pattern in meditation, you're just sitting there, you're just letting it fall away. You're letting yourself get bored with it so that you can summon the, whatever you want to call it, the openness to let go of it. But if we're in that old pattern every single day without meditating, then that old pattern is just running us. Our karma is just running us. I think it was the Buddha who said it's just the wheel of samsara. And meditation is the most effective way, in my experience, to break our wheel of samsara, our wheel of karma, of just repeating the same cycle over and over again. And that's what you're doing when you're not meditating and you're just letting these patterns run you. But when you meditate, even if you're stuck in that pattern, you're slowly allowing it to dissolve. You're slowly allowing your interest and your consciousness to have the curiosity about something different than that same old wheel that you've been on your whole life. So I just wanted to share that. If you find yourself getting stuck in the mind, stuck in thought, I do it all the time. Some days way more than others. And you know what? It's the days where there's lots of density. Sometimes those days are hard to open and let go because there's going to be lots of burning. If there's lots of density and there's lots of light, it's like kind of like how you make a diamond or something. It's just like, isn't that how you make a diamond? Like, I should learn more about diamonds before I try to use that as an example. But it's just like burning stuff away, and it can just, the light meeting the density, it can physically burn. And not all the time, especially if you're going through a kundalini awakening, right when you're, especially early in a kundalini awakening, but this can go on for years. I'm 2.5 years in and I still have it in meditations. You will experience a lot of burning as you're showing your density and your old patterns and your karma to the light. So that's the video today. A little bit of just kind of an in-depth walkthrough of what I feel happens and how I feel karma burns away. I hope you guys are enjoying your meditations. I just want to say thank you for doing all the work you're doing, all the inner work. When we're allowing the karma to be burned away, that's when we can feel like, yes, this is work. Because it is, it's beautiful inner work. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching and sharing all of your authenticity with me in the comments. It really means a lot to me, and I really just love all of you guys so much. I will see you on day 69. Namaste.